Welcome to Canine Revolution Radio. Presented by Canine Revolution Dog Training, enhancing the dog and owner relationship through education, balance, and pack instinct.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Canine Revolution Radio. We got Chad, Chris, and Kevin here today as your hosts.
Yo.
Today's a special episode. Today we're doing a Q&A. We've got, how many questions, Ben? 13 or something?
We got about 16 plus.
16 plus questions submitted for the podcast today. We'll be doing these every once in a while. So as you have questions, feel free to submit them to us. And Chris is freaking out right now because Chris likes scripting.
I like
scripts. He
I like
likes knowing
scripts.
what we're going to be talking about. And today I said nobody's going to know the questions.
I'm a little scared.
Ben has all the questions. He's going to say a question. We're going to answer it. Chris is freaking out.
Just chaos for you.
He just can't handle it.
I don't
before
like it.
Before we went live, he starts losing it.
It's like doing something with no preparation.
Mentally, he's losing it. You got to get over it.
You got to fly by the seat of your pants, man.
Hey, I'm here. I'm here.
All right, Ben. Let's
rock.
go. First question.
All right, first question. Why do dogs insist on relentlessly licking their bowls and other dogs' bowls after eating?
Good question. Anybody want to grab it?
Scent.
Scent?
Could be scent. Could be an anxious behavior, you know, just constant licking, same way that they would kind of constantly lick themselves, or excessive water drinking. I know Wally, when I got him, you could fill up a bathtub of water. He was just going to sit there and keep dipping his tongue in it and drink it until it was gone, and then he'd lick the bowl after. Yeah, exactly. So there's a variety of reasons. I think that scent probably plays a big factor in it, though.
Scent. I mean, it could be as simple as they're just cleaning everything up, getting all the food.
Yeah.
But it could be, a soothing behavior as well. You know?
Could be a ritual.
Could be a ritual.
Routines
Exactly.
and
The
rituals.
feeding.
Yeah.
So, could be number one, could be anxiety, like we already talked about. Dog doesn't know what to do. Dog's anxious, got nothing else to do, smells the food. They're just mindly licking it. Number two could go along the lines of boredom or understimulation. Dog's got nothing to do, so just licking that scent, It's like same thing, licking the water. Also, number three, like with one of my own dogs, she's like hyper hunger drivey, like loves food like astronomically, like will keep eating if there's just food available. So like whenever I'm done feeding all my dogs, she will literally walk around and lick the food bowls clean just because she has that level of hunger drive. Now as a dog owner, you could let your dog do that. It's up to you what you allow your dog to do or not allow them to do. If it's annoying to you, you can stop it, right? You control the environment, you control the pack. So you need to implement some kind of structure or routine or your own ritual to stop the ritual you don't like, right? Maybe at the end of the meals, you pick up all the food bowls, you store them somewhere, clean them and store them, right? Maybe you send your dog to spot instead of allowing them to lick all the food bowls. So, or maybe if you're just hanging out in the house and you notice they're just licking that food bowl, you send them to spot, or you give them some other tasker so they're not just like, mindlessly licking the food bowl or anxiously licking the food bowl. You know what I'm saying? So good to go with that.
Yeah. I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's not it's not something you need to be majorly concerned about unless, like you said, it's annoying and you're wanting to put a stop to it.
I could see people being annoyed by just the constant licking noise.
Yeah. I know some people that are annoyed by that.
Oh, yeah. All right, Bunny. Next question.
Next question. What is the best approach to teaching dogs how to swim or getting them more comfortable around water?
Yeah.
Who wants to grab it?
I'll
Chris?
take that. I'll start us off.
Take that.
I mean,
Take that.
this
Take
is essentially kind of like what we do for socialization, right? So like some people will say just throw your dog
Wait
in the deep
a
end.
second. What's the definition of socialization? Little
Okay,
trainer pop
here
quiz
we go.
here.
Terminology.
What's the definition of socialization?
I got a script
This
on
one
that
used to get me when I was brand new. It'd get me every time.
No, this is easy piece of cake. So socialization is giving a positive experience in close proximity to whatever it is that you're trying to socialize, right?
good
So that's essentially what we want to do. So like some people will say, you just throw your dog in the deep end, and they'll instinctually swim.
That's how I
right?
learned.
That's how I learned as well.
Don't do that.
But it didn't necessarily make me enjoy water, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, a part of this question is how do we have them enjoy it, right? So we got to give them positive experiences with some exposure to water. So, that might be starting in the shallow end, maybe in the steps. Get our dogs to put their paw in the water. We're gonna reward them. Maybe we're gonna get a kiddie pool, a little small pool where it's not something intimidating, right? A lot of people like to start at the beach. That can be way too much, right? You can start shallow, but you got the wind, you got the waves coming, and a lot of dogs are like, no, I don't want nothing to do with that. So you just want to get them exposed to water and make it positive. And, obviously you have a puppy, you can start this with bath time, whatever, just somehow expose them to some water, use the hose, get them in a kiddie pool, that kind of stuff while you feed them their meals, do some engagement, that kind of stuff. So you're making it a positive association and then build up closer to getting them into the water. As far as addressing, how to teach them how to swim, I think most dogs it's a genetic instinct. They're going to start to doggy paddle, but you can use a food lure to get them into the water. As they get deeper, they'll start swimming. But just keep it positive.
Good to go. Now we just peeled away some of Chris's onion layers. We know he's scared of the water. That's why
I'm not scared of the water. I'm scared of the beach.
That's why every time we go to the lake day or the beach day, you got your floaties on. You got your little arm floaties.
Honestly,
they're not little
floaties.
arm floaties.
Well,
They're pretty
they're
big arm
They're
floaties.
big arm floaties.
Yeah.
If I can't see in the water, I'm a little,
No, I've seen Jaws. I know how that plays out.
Yeah, scary movie.
Yeah, so good to go there. One thing you can add on to that, you can be in the water with your dog and support their body and help them while they're doing that natural doggy paddle, support them, help them know what movement is, that type of thing. Yeah. But make it positive. A lot of dogs, too, if they have like a prey drive or they're willing to chase a ball, you can, once you get what Chris talked about, the initial socialization done, they're comfortable around the water, in the water. Now you want to start playing in the water to continue to chain that positive association or good experience to the water. You know what I'm saying? So playing ball in the water in the shallow area, then maybe slowly working it to a deep end, having them grab like a bumper out of the water, all those types of things. Good to go.
Yeah, and keep in mind every dog's different. So some dogs may take you a long time to get through this process, whereas some dogs, maybe some lab puppies or whatever, you could probably just throw a ball in the water. Good to go, you're done.
Yeah.
Whereas other dogs, you're gonna have to take a little bit more time, deep dive.
Yeah, some dogs are really quick at it. Some dogs are absolutely don't want nothing to do with the water. You try and force it on them, they keep having a bad association. That's going to be really hard to combat. So. Yeah. The best thing is if you have it available to you, start off right off the bat doing what Chris talked about, the socialization piece, slowly building up the baby steps. If you've already taken your dog and you've thrown them in the water, now they got this huge negative association to the water, just understand you got a lot of work to do, but the process is still the same. You're going to slowly build up that dog's comfort level and socialization to the water and in the water like Chris described. You know what I'm saying? Do not rush it. There's no rush. You just have to go through the repetitions.
Is there a thing such as like it just doesn't work with a dog, trying to get them to interact in the water, be comfortable around the water, like you don't want to push the dog too far? Or is there somewhere you would say, okay, we're going to stop?
I mean, you could go ahead.
I think that's the time factor there. I was recently asked because with the consultation, he has a dog that's afraid of water. So at that point, you're going to find because we're still going to be in proximity to it, but we don't have to be right next to it. We can slowly work our way to it as long as it's in the environment. And I think that eventually, through doing this process, you can overcome anything. It's just a time factor at that point. So, I mean, it's how much are you willing to invest? How dedicated are you going to be to helping your dog overcome this?
Yeah. Now, with that being said, not every dog may be capable of swimming effectively. Yeah. Because I know Bane, for example, my big Doberman, he's like a rock. As soon as he gets in the water, his body starts sinking. Yeah. His body and his coat is not designed to help him float. But Georgia, my other Doberman, she swims perfectly. And she's just really good at it. So some dogs may struggle with that swimming just because their body is too heavy or too muscular or whatever like that. So you do have to take that into account. Now, he'll go in the water, he'll walk around in it, have a good time in it, but when it comes to swimming and it gets deeper, he starts to sink. His body just sinks, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So Just something to keep in mind.
It's a lot of mass to keep afloat, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think you need to take into consideration your lifestyle as well. Like, I mean, how worth it is it to you? You know, like it's not that big of a deal. I'm never going to really force a dog to do something that they don't enjoy. Like we could say the same thing about playing fetch or tug or something like that. Some dogs just don't get enjoyment out of that. So are we forcing our dog into something that they're not enjoying? That's something you need to take into consideration.
But maybe this person has like a pool. They have like pool parties.
Sure.
They want their dog. Maybe their dog runs away from the pool.
Yeah.
Just because they're scared.
Sure.
You work on your socialization just to get your dog chill with just being around the pool. Doesn't have to be in the deep end or anything, but just around the pool, around the people, because you want it to be involved with your friends and family coming over. So that's just another scenario as well.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of different scenarios, but the process is still the same. You got to work on that step-by-step socialization strategy to help your dog overcome the issue. Work on reversing the conditioning and the association they have, so they have a good time, and that they, you know, if you're not that dedicated about getting them to go swimming in the water, at least tolerate being around the water. If they don't even like being around it, maybe you get them to be good with walking in it, you know, versus swimming. You know, you just have to take what your end goal is. What's your end goal? And then work towards that through the socialization process that Chris talked about. So good to go.
Cool.
Next question.
All right, next question. What are some signs you can tell your older dog and new puppy are getting along well and like each other, or vice versa in that regard? You can tell maybe there's some conflict in between your dog. You bring a new dog into the home, you know.
Well, Kevin, you've been dealing with this with some of your clients here recently.
So you got 2 questions there.
Oh, I mean, first of all, like, so proper introduction. You know, you want everything to be nice and controlled. You know, almost like adding a fish to a fish tank. You know, you want them to be adaptive to it. If I'm bringing a new dog in, I'm going to go to a neutral environment with my old dog first. Have them introduced. You know, read their body language, make an assessment off of that. Of course, puppies are going to be usually pretty playful, which sometimes to an old dog can be kind of aggravating. So, you know, you're looking at, you know, the rituals that they do, your old dog's inhibition. I mean, there's a lot of factors that play into this. But if I feel like it's a good body language, then I'm going to start, you know, having them together when I can control the environment. I'm not just going to put them in there, close the door, and go to work, you know, just have them free roaming all day doing, you know, we don't know what they're doing. So I'm going to have it very controlled. You know, they're going to get used to each other. They're going to eat at the same time. Their kennels are going to be next to each other so that they adapt to each other. And at that point, it just becomes a part of their life. You know, that's what I did when I first introduced a dog into my home. You know, because what the issues with Lulu, so everything had to be nice and controlled. And yeah, so, but yeah, so you can tell. I mean, you pretty much know when it's aggressive behavior. You don't want to mix up, you know, play behavior with like, oh, my dog's being aggressive or my dog's being too dominant. If they're just playing, you know, that's good to go. If they self-correct through play, if one goes too far, you know, good to go. They're eating together. There's no negative reactions. They're not trying to necessarily dominate each other in every scenario. So take into account, like I go to pet on the old dog is the puppy trying to dominate and control me. You know, you want them both to be equal, you know, so proper training. Come Canine Revolution dog training.
Yeah.
Hold them to the structure, you know.
There you go.
But yeah, that's a couple of things that I'm going to do to make sure that I have, you know, a good association. Because I think at a point, you know, even with both dogs being trained and all that stuff, no matter what the history was, you can pretty much have a dog tolerate another dog as long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin's been working with some people here recently. They sent one dog to training. While the dog's at training, they get another one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Kevin goes and takes the dog in training back home, does the whole introduction phase with him, and then they send the second dog to training, and then good to go after that, you know. So.
Yeah, and even then, you know, they started out rough. You know, the play was a little rough. It wasn't over the top. It's not something that I would interfere with. As somebody who doesn't know what they're looking at, you know, 2 young working dogs like that, if they get going, it can be exaggerated, you know. But I just waited it out, and again, just let the process take care of itself. They have their own way of correcting each other and their own rituals that they complete before and after play as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, you got anything to add?
Yeah, so like I go a lot off of too, like how are they responding to each other? Like Kevin touched on a little bit, like bite inhibition. I had a client that sent me a video recently of their two dogs playing. And they're like, is it like, because they're both growling at each other, right? So they were like, I don't know if this is play behavior or if they're fighting, and it's a rich play is a ritual of them fighting, right? So they're going for each other's neck and all that kind of stuff. And in the video, they're doing some growling, doing some biting, but you can see there's no blood, there's no real damage. At one point, one of the dogs kind of whimpers and whines, the other dog stops, lets off a little bit, right? So like those are good signs that they're responding to each other. If that dog was whimpering and whining and that dog just kept going for the dog's throat, now it's getting out of hand, that's getting a little aggressive, turning into a fight, that kind of stuff. So I'm looking at a lot at how the dogs respond to each other, but also before I even get to that point, I'm making sure I'm in control, right, of the environment. I have control over both of those dogs. But specifically for this scenario, you're talking about a younger dog with an older dog. So a common one that you see is like, yeah, an older dog will engage with that puppy, but sometimes they're like, hey, okay, leave me alone, right? Is the puppy responding to that? Are we allowing that puppy to just be overbearing and constantly pestering the older dog? At that point, we do need to probably step in and give the older dog a little break as the pack leader. So.
Yeah, good to go.
Control and respect goes a long way with that as well.
Yeah.
Is if your dog just does whatever they want to do and they decide, well, I'm going to attack this dog, even when you're in the environment and you're controlling the environment, then there's a respect issue there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And like you already talked about, Kevin, like if this person brings a puppy home, they got an older dog, that older dog is used to just hanging out, it's just kind of doing whatever it wants, no big deal. You don't have too much structure implemented with the older dog. He's just hanging out. Now you got this burst of energy puppy coming in there. The puppy's going crazy. Older dog probably doesn't like that. Older dog probably wants to hang out and chill. Doesn't like the crazy energy. So that may result in a reaction from the older dog. So like you already talked about, the introduction has to be done. You got to have a level of relationship with each dog individually. Know that they are going to listen to you and adhere to you when you ask them to do something. If they're in the middle of play and you can't say, dog 1, come, dog 2, come, and they won't do that, that's a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. So before you even get to that point where you're letting them go free for all on each other and do whatever you guys just discussed through the rituals and all that, first of all, I got to make sure that I know that if I say come, that dog's going to stop what it's doing and come over to me. You know what I'm saying? That's a big deal. And that's going to take time to get to that point. But guess what? During that time while you're building up to that point, you're still having these two dogs do things together, like walking together, training together, spotting together, kennel time together, eating next to each other. So you're doing all these pack rituals, routines and rituals together with each other, you know what I'm saying? And then you slowly develop into that play routine and ritual that you allow, routines and rituals that you allow them to do. You know what I'm saying?
onion layers.
Yeah, I mean, it is a process, I think it's, a lot of people think that they can just get whatever dog, bring them home, let them loose, and everything's going to be good because they're a dog. It's not entirely how it works.
Well, and sometimes people do luck out, and things do.
Absolutely.
The dogs, maybe they have good genetics, and they do just kind of work it out, and you don't have any incidents. But a lot of times it doesn't work out that way.
I would make sure I get those two dogs on an individual basis, good to go with me, that they respect me and my leadership. I respect them for their individuality. They trust me and my leadership for each situation. I trust them to do what they know they're supposed to do. Once I have those things established, then we can start interacting with other pack members, other dogs, friends' dogs, families' dogs, all these different things. But the first thing comes first. I got to get my pack set up for success individually with each pack, each dog in the pack and me. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I'm going to start it, Good to go.
That's some really good information.
Glad you like it, boys.
A lot of information coming out.
I kind of lost track of the question for a second when I was talking about the
You were
control
just talking.
aspect.
Wait, are these just
You guys just
questions
kinda
Ben
started
wants
talking.
to know? He's just asking. He's just getting free
I
answers.
mean,
Ben's in charge of the
I
questions.
found these on the internet.
Ben's in
These
charge
are
of the
definitely
questions.
not my own thoughts.
Okay, all right.
All right, Bunny. Next question.
All right, next question. So my dog is showing aggression with food. He is nudging us when he is ready to eat, even though it is not quite mealtime. He also nudges my hand as well when we are on walks, and I command him to do something such as a sit or a down. What do you guys think about that?
Chris, you want to tackle this?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you got a little bit of dominance going on here. Your dog is not necessarily protesting. Like maybe I tell him to sit, he's nudging my hand or something before he does it or whatever. You know, that could be displacement, could be him trying to get out of what it is that we're trying to tell him to do. The food aggression that's coming up. I mean, at that point, I'm going back to square one. Assuming we've done our training and everything like that, I'm going back to transition period, right? So I'm going to control that food resource. You're not going to get aggressive over this resource, you know, whether they're getting possessive, doesn't matter. They're going to be eating out of my hand, you know. I'm going to control their environment. I'm going to control their stimulation. And I mean, it sounds like you just kind of need to reset the whole relationship so that you're back on the top of that hierarchy. That's where I'm going to start.
Yeah, you know, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, definitely you're going to control that resource, use the food directly coming from you. You don't get food any other way, right? And then the thing about nudging me, you know, like if you nudge me, you definitely ain't getting it. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get it for doing other behaviors. But the nudging behavior, I'm just going to ignore. You're getting nothing for that. You know what I'm saying? And like you already said, going back to your transition period protocols, for anybody that doesn't know what a transition period protocol is, it's a set of recommendations that we have for our alumni that when their dog completes training, they have this list of recommendations to complete for the first 3 weeks when their dog comes home. That helps to translate and transfer all the training at home with the dog and establish a good pack mentality at the home, right? But those are going to be a little bit more stricter than we're going to be in the long term with our dog. So one of the things is roaming freely. I'm not going to let my dog roam in the yard freely without my supervision. You know what I'm saying? And during the transition period, it's pretty much going to be on a leash connected to me, you know. But even after the transition period, even today for me with my own dogs, you know, they are never in the yard without my direct supervision, because you don't know what's going to happen out there. There could be a snake, could bite your dog. Your dog could die because you were inside not paying attention to your dog. You know, your dog could eat something that's poisonous and die, and you not know because you were inside and your dog was outside doing whatever. Your dog could be practicing undesirable behaviors like running up and down the fence, barking at other people and dogs, walking outside your fence. Let's say there's a walking path outside your fence. Your dog's running up and down the fence, showing displays of aggression, practicing aggression. You don't know it because you're not out there supervising it. You know what I'm saying? So you need to tighten down on all these little things because they're all like a puzzle piece, right? All the puzzle pieces connect together, and your dog's practicing all these different things. You really got to tighten down your whole structure, and that's going to help you overcome the food aggression and the nudging and the dominance and this and that and the anxieties or whatever's going on. You know what I'm saying? So it's more than just a quick fix. It's a lot of different aspects of the overall structure that's got to be implemented correctly, right? And if one of our alumni, you know, is going through something like this, they know they can reach out to us and get, you know, support, follow-up sessions, all that kind of thing. But if you're not an alumni, you know, we can still provide you a lot of information, you know, privately if you want us to, or if you want to talk, we can talk about it on a podcast as well. But, you know, it's going to take deliberate effort in a lot of different pieces of you and your dog's routines and rituals and structure to make sure that you get this situation under control and resolved to the level that you want it controlled at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there's a lot to it. I mean,
yeah.
You know, every little aspect of our life, you know, and since becoming a trainer, obviously I can see it now. You know, is my dog dominating me in just little things that maybe people can perceive to be cute, you know, and you're laughing at it and you're petting them because you think it's cute. Well, you're just reinforcing it. You're just making them stronger in their mind.
Your dog's playing a game with you.
Yeah.
Games.
And some dogs, like that might not, like at the end of the day, that might not be the biggest deal in the world for some dogs.
Right.
But for other dogs,
Could
it's
be
a
serious.
huge deal.
Yeah.
It's a huge deal.
Yeah,
Like,
if I'm encountering things like this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I go to pick up my dog's food bowl when dinner's on, he's snapping at me or, you know, growling or something like that, then there's other aspects of my life where I've allowed him to gain that control, and he's leading me in his mind.
Sure. And with those types of dogs, it could be as subtle as deviation in the heel position.
Yeah.
Right? That's happening consistently. And we may think as humans, okay, he's a couple inches ahead of me. What's the big deal? It's not that big of a deal at the end of the day. But in the dog's mind, you know, you give them an inch, they take a mile. Right? Hey, if I can deviate here, I can deviate here. Then I can deviate over here. And then I can do this even greater over here. And now all of a sudden we're dealing with aggression or serious issues. So you really got to just take control, reassert yourself as the leader of that pack, you know, and go back from square one if you need to.
That's what the dog's doing, is testing the limits of the leader, to see if the leader is strong enough worth following. If I deviate from this position, which I know, and I can get away with that, that means this leader is not holding me up to the pack standards, which means I don't respect this leader that much. So I'm going to keep deviations and see if I can rise to the rank of pack leader and start making the calls around here. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Heel position is heel position. I say it all the time.
Yeah.
People ask me, what do I do if I pass another dog? What do I do if I pass a person? What do I do if I pass a bicycle or a skateboard or this or that? You know what my answer is? Heel position is heel position. If your dog deviates heel position, no matter what's going on around you, doesn't matter. The process is still the same to resolve that situation, right?
Heel position is heel position. Deviation is a deviation.
Yep, exactly. Good to go.
No onion layers on that one, just straight up.
There's onion layers.
There's a lot of
onion layers to
There's
it.
a lot of onion layers there.
All right, Bunny, what's the next question?
All right, next one. My dog always gets attacked at the dog park. How can I prevent this?
Easy answer.
Don't go to the dog park.
Why don't you
that'll
go to
be
the
it.
dog park? Why don't you go to the dog park, boys?
You guys want to kind of explain why you guys don't support going to dog
Yes,
parks?
that's what I'm asking. Why don't we go to the dog park?
Yeah. So I mean,
It's fun.
just
It's fun.
it may be fun.
Hey, honestly, let's be honest. Before I was a trainer, I took Sarabi here to the dog park
yeah.
all the time.
Oh, yeah.
She was loving it.
yeah.
I took Bane to the dog park. He was loving it till he started attacking people and dogs.
No, he was still loving it though.
I took Vader to the dog park, and he was loving it for different
loving it.
reasons. He's like, oh, I can kill all of these dogs
Oh, yeah.
for free? Okay.
So why don't you go to the dog park?
Yeah. So, I mean, it may seem like a fun, unharmful thing from our perspective, like taking our kids to the playground or whatever, you know what I mean, to get interaction with other kids. Same thing, taking our dogs to the playground to interact with other dogs. But from the dog's perspective, it can be a little bit more chaotic than what we are perceiving it to be. So think, especially if your dog just has some natural insecurity, is fearful, right, or is anxious, or has all these other things that could be genetic, could be learned, whatever. We bring them to the dog park. There's 20 other dogs that are strangers they've never met. We're bringing them to the gate. They're all swarmed around the gate, barking, growling, all this kind of stuff. And we're just like, get in there. And we throw them into the wolves, right?
It's like a Royal Rumble.
Yeah, so like your dog could legitimately be a little bit afraid or uncomfortable with that. And, they may see it from the perspective, you're not doing anything about this, and so I'm going to do something about this. Maybe they put on some dominant body posture, maybe put some insecure, submissive body positioning postures on, and maybe some of the other dogs have never learned that stuff. They're not respecting it, and then boom, dog fights break out. Right, so this, a lot of dogs are having these negative experiences in these dog parks that us as the pack leaders, as the humans, are not seeing, and they're kind of going over our heads. Mm-hmm. So the bottom line is we can't control the environment in a dog park, and that's why we don't recommend them. We don't know those other dogs. We don't know the owners. I know my dog. I know myself. I know my ability to control my dog, but I can't control the 20 other dogs. I can't control the other owners that are sitting in the corner on their phone reading the newspaper. Do people still read the newspaper?
I saw one not too long ago out there.
Yeah. But we can't control all of that, so it's too much chaos. So that's the bottom line why we don't recommend those dog parks.
There's a lot of bad reinforcement in that scenario,
Yeah.
And if, like you said, if you already have an insecure dog, this is not going to help them. This is what people think, socialization. Oh, I take them to a dog park. They're socializing with other animals.
Right.
And, y'all have been listening to the podcast for a while. We did one on socialization, so obviously we know that is incorrect. So dog parks are great. The only issue is other dogs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And whatever your dog's practicing is what's going to keep,
Right.
They're going to keep in their habits, Or if this person's dog was getting attacked all the time.
Mm-hmm. Or they were attacked.
No, they were getting attacked.
They were getting attacked.
So every time the dog's around other dogs, it's making an association. I'm going to get attacked. I'm going to get So that's going to result in reactivity, dog aggression in the future. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Basically, this dog keeps getting attacked in their mind. They're like, I can't escape this fenced-in park, so I have to fight.
Yep.
Yeah.
At some point, that's going to click in their head, and then this is exactly what happened with Vader, with Lulu.
Mm-hmm.
They decide, okay, every single dog is the enemy, and it's go time every time we see a dog. So
Good to
that's
go.
why we don't do dog parks.
Yeah. So, but if you have some friends and your dog's good with them, that's a
Right.
great way to allow your dog to play and hang out with other dogs, people, friends. I've seen our alumni at group classes. They get together, they schedule little play dates with their dogs. You know, they go off and do whatever they're doing.
In environments they can control.
Environments you can control. You know, that person has control on their dog. You've got the same level of training, blah, 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 blah. You know, so that's a great way to set up you and your dog for success, but still being able to enjoy the company of other people and other dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you got 20 dogs in a dog park, but they're all at the same level of training,
Yeah.
it's better that way.
Yeah.
A big thing is the respect too. Again, you lose control of the environment, lose control. You know, you lose the respect.
Yeah.
You know, your pack leader.
Yeah.
Supposed to, you know,
And the trust, not
Yep.
just that, but I mean, you know, like they could see like, oh my gosh, you're not doing anything about this situation that I'm uncomfortable with.
Right.
supposed to take care of your pack members, not
Yeah.
just throw them to the wolves like
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, Bunny.
All right, so the next one was kind of goes along with what we just talked about with the older dog and the puppy and ensuring that they get along. But this one says, how to ensure my puppy gets along with my resident dog. But we kind of already addressed that. So let's say, how do I set my puppy up for success when it comes home?
Good one. Kevin?
Now, this is also covered in our potty training episode.
Oh, okay.
Make
Refer
sure
to episode
episode number 2.
All right, Kevin, what do you got real quick and easy? What's the question, Bunny?
Just how do I set my puppy up for success coming home?
I mean, it's kind of almost the same answer I gave before. You know, control, structure. You know, communicating to them in a way that they understand. You know, and at some level, even being as a person, just a regular person that's not a dog trainer, you can still teach your puppy certain things because you do need to lay some ground rules and clearly communicate to them that it's everything in there is basically yours. You know,
Could you find help online where to how to teach your puppy certain things, teach your dog certain things?
This is where you put a plug in. Canine Revolution.
You can find help with us. We do a one-time puppy seminar where we come to your home.
But even before that, you go on the YouTube.
Yep.
Type in Canine Revolution.
We got
dog
some articles.
training. Got some articles.
You might be watching us right now on YouTube.
Might be watching
Just
us
keep
right
scrolling
now.
down.
Keep scrolling down. Good to go.
Podcast
You
section.
see that little sidebar where you're watching? Yeah, just scroll that, see if it pops up.
Oh, I got Samantha.
Oh yeah,
got her going.
Samantha's. She was thought about taking a nap over there.
I was gonna say she's awake for once.
All right, next question kind of goes along with one of our other podcast episodes we just did about the mind of the ill and their elderly. If you haven't listened to it, go back, listen to it.
Go back and listen to that.
I'm- heard
Is it worth sending my older dog to training?
Chris.
Well, I mean, generally, yeah, I'm going to say yes. But there's obviously
What's the criterias?
Well, there's other factors that I would weigh in first. Obviously they got to be medically cleared, right? So like if there's no medical reasons that they can't do the training, right? Like I don't know, their brain just doesn't work anymore, right?
That's quite a diagnosis. Joey's brain doesn't work.
Yeah. I mean, there's medical.
What the heck?
Could be heart issues. Could be all sorts of medical reasons that you don't want to. That you may not want to pursue training, and it may not be a smart investment for you. But that's not to mean you can't do some stimulation stuff. But in general, yes, we're going to say yes. You're, you need to get your dog trained no matter the age.
That was kind of all over the place. Those. Kevin, what do you got?
I mean, I answered the question, boys. In
answer.
general, yes.
Yes,
But there
yeah.
might
Just
be.
I'm going to
some
mute
factors.
Chris's mic for a second.
No, yeah, I mean, basically, same exact thing. Is it worth it? Yeah. I mean, do you want control in your home? Is your dog, has your dog had years and years and years of reinforcement, and now you're just recognizing that these behaviors have escalated? Has the relationship changed since you brought your dog home as a puppy to, the 10-year-old that you have now? So if you want control, you want to regain that control. If you want their trust, if you want your bond to be even stronger than it already is with your dog, then yes, of course, send them to training. It gives you more stuff that you can do with them throughout the day. So you practice your obedience and you go on your nice, controlled, structured walks. He's looking to you for guidance after training, so there's definitely strengthens the bond. But yeah.
The main limiting factor, like Chris already said, the main limiting factor to an older dog getting trained is going to be the mind. Is the mind still capable? Is the dog's mind still capable of learning and processing information? If the mind is too old, where the dog is unable to learn or process information, that's going to be your showstopper right there.
Yeah.
But you can still provide limited levels of stimulation to that dog to stimulate the mind, right? Also going on the medical topics, like if we have a dog with a heart issue, they can still come to training, but they're going to have special care, special requirements while they're in training, right? If you got a dog with arthritis, they may be on supplementation or medication for that. They may be limited in the amount of exercise they're able to do each day. Those requirements are not a problem. They just have to be addressed when that dog's being trained. You know what I'm saying? Same thing if you have a certain breed, like a short-nosed dog, that dog's going to be limited on its exercise because their nasal passages and the way that they breathe is not as much as like a standard long-snouted dog where they can breathe in a certain way that they're able to work for longer periods of time, you know? Also, you may have a dog that's like overweight, obese. This dog can't go on a 12-mile walk on day one of training. This dog has to physically be conditioned and brought up in a way where it's going to be put in the best shape possible by the time the training's over. You know what I'm saying? So that's something else we do a lot is help dogs that are overweight, obese, work on their physical conditioning, you know, so on and so forth. But these are all different factors you have to think about. It's not a showstopper. It's just, all right, we have to have some special requirements, special criteria for this
tweak
certain
some
dog.
stuff a little bit.
Tweak a few things, no big deal. But if you're at home training your own dog, the only limiting factor with an older dog is that the mind still has to be able to process information. You know what I'm saying? So, and most dogs are good to go with that. You know?
And in fact, like what we've found, you know, through our research, check back on that episode of the elderly. But if their mind is capable of still processing information and you give them that stimulation, it's going to
prolong their life. Yep.
Yeah.
And if you start off with a younger dog too, like a puppy, and you're stimulating the senses, like we learned about on that podcast episode, stimulate the senses, that's going to, again, prolong life, right? So providing mental stimulation, physical stimulation, stimulating the senses, like what are some senses you need to stimulate? Touch, hearing, smell, taste. All these senses have to be stimulated and exercised to prolong the length of your dog's life. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to have to come up with some brain games, right, to stimulate those senses. We need to do some more brain game action, you know. But anyway, long story short, yes, send your old dog to training unless their mind is too old to process information.
Chris, good to go?
I'm good.
Chris. All right. Bunny, next question.
My dog constantly barks or snaps at the wind.
At the wind?
At the wind.
Is that what it said?
Yeah.
At the wind.
At the wind. The wind's blowing in the dog's face, barking, biting at it, turning, you know, doesn't know how to process the wind.
Could be a dog that does that to the high velocity dryer too. Right? You know?
How do I stop this?
All right, Kevin, what do you got?
How do you desensitize your dog to the wind?
Just like anything else, I guess, right?
I mean, so exposure, you know. I think they're just doing that. They may just be so. I mean, it's all depending on why it's happening. You know, usually you want to find the root cause of why, and then you can correct it. The dog could just be amped up. He could just be having a good time. You know, there's a lot of stimulation. You know, for him. Again, that's almost like the touching stimulation right there. I'm just thinking about a dog just biting the air right now. But yeah, man, I'd say exposure. Maybe controlled exposure. Just like with the velocity dryer. We prefer them be, calm. So maybe we start on a low setting with that, socialize them to it properly beforehand. Over time we can maybe increase and, maintain that calmness. But overall, pretty good question.
Yeah, so I mean, this could be rooted in a prey drive where the dog has sensated something by something moving and wants to react to that. It could be, like you said, a dog's hyperactive or anxious. It's annoyed by the wind and it doesn't know what to do, so its default behavior is to snap at it, just like some dogs' default behavior will be to run away from something. This dog's default behavior is let's fight. You know what I'm saying? So it's biting at the wind, that kind of thing. So you got to do two things. Number one, like you said, you got to be able to desensitize your dog to that. Like Chris said, socialize your dog to the wind, make it comfortable in the wind, teach it some rules in the wind with some rewards-based training, but also what do you have to do to undesirable behavior? You got to stop it. So how are you going to stop that? Or you're going to go through a training process that teaches the dog some expectations. And then once you teach that, you're going to add a layer onto your expectations of corrections. And if you determine that your dog snapping at the wind is undesirable to you and not part of your pack structure, not part of your pack expectations. What are you going to do? You're going to say no and provide your dog a correction for that undesirable behavior and redirect them into a calm behavior, such as a down state or a sit state or a heel position, something like that, right? So good to go.
Communication system has to be rock solid, though.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. So
Canine Revolution dog training.
there's going to be a lot of foundational work you're going to do before you get to the correction phase, right? There's going to be a few steps in the progression before you get to the correction phase, which we probably need to do a podcast on the progression if we haven't done one already. But, by the time you get to that correction phase, your dog reacts to the wind. You say no, you give a correction. Your dog's going to understand this is something undesirable. I'm not supposed to be doing this. You redirect them into a calm behavior. Good to go.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Next question.
All right, next question. When I give my dog a command such as a down or a heel or a spot, they are eating stuff off the ground, munching on anything they can find. How do I fix this behavior?
No correction.
Even when correcting, they just go even harder.
Yeah.
Start eating more.
Is this your dog, Ben?
This is my dog.
There's a dog in training right now that will collect rocks on her pet cat.
This is my dog.
Because I found a pile of them. I was like, what?
She just sits on her spot like there's nothing going on. You go to take her off, there's a pile of rocks. She's just been collecting rocks on her.
It's like the little tractors at the playground, and you pick it up and just put it over. That's all she's doing with.
And my dog does that too. She just, stores it in her stomach.
Yeah.
For later. Yeah.
All right, Chris, what you got?
I mean, could be. I mean, there could be a couple things. So it could be displacement, like we've talked about earlier, right? So it could be your dog just doesn't want to work, trying to get out of work, trying to do something other than what you're telling them to do. The respect's not there in the relationship. It could be that they're just losing interest. Maybe you need to throw some engagement in there. You know what I mean? Make it positive, make it interesting to where going after grabbing rocks or sniffing the ground or whatever is not as fun as going to your spot, because I'm going to make that more fun than picking up the rocks and the dirt and all that kind of stuff. But, yeah.
Okay. Kevin, what do you got?
Yeah, focus building for sure. If I'm healing and my dog's sniffing, that's a deviation anyway. So I need to be able to correct that behavior. But y'all have done this with your personal dogs too. Condition like a look command, or when you say their name, you expect them to look at you. Reward them, make yourself more valuable than what's going on. So that's kind of for me. If my dog's sniffing in a heel position, then I may have slacked off somewhere. I need to address some things because they know clearly that that's a deviation. But yeah.
You can also, maybe take a what?
Go ahead.
Am I jumping out of line?
No, I'm listening. You're good.
Chris, every time you turn your head,
What?
I
You lose me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I need you to follow your mind.
You can also take it a step back. Maybe you're in too, it's kind of going off of what I was already talking about. But maybe your environment is too stimulating, right? So yes, you're not as interesting. So now maybe I can make my environment less interesting. Maybe I go into a room in my house that I have nothing in, right? There's nothing in the room, so there is no other stimulation except for me. Maybe I've got my spot in there, that kind of stuff. So now you're less likely to build those rituals of them checking out rocks and the dirt and things like that. Now you're building the pattern of focusing on me, go to the spot, do what I ask, that kind of stuff. I'm still building that engagement, then go back outside to where there's all this stimulation in the environment.
Just evolve from there.
Yeah, so basically, like you just said, it's a habit, that we have to break. So how are we going to break a habit? We got to change up the game. I've already been through the training process with my dog in Ben's case. I've already been through the training process. I've gone through the different progression levels. I've got the corrections down, all that kind of stuff. I've got the engagement down, all that stuff. Got the spot down, but now my dog's just trying to grab things while they're on the spot, eating things while they're on the spot. How am I going to break that habit? If I give a correction, my dog may get a little bit amped up by that. What does that tell me? My dog's has a lot of energy. So a couple ways I can break the habit before I even start the spot scenario. Number one, completely tank my dog's energy levels, like 100% tank the energy levels where you're ready to go lay down, go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Which happened, when that happened, on the Nexton walk.
What?
She was ready to sleep after the next
Oh
night.
yeah, she was done for the rest. Of the
I mean, that was took 2.5 hours.
Or like
Yeah.
biking.
in the rain, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Or
Yeah,
like
I really
biking
love
or
that.
something else, you know what I'm saying? Something to tank the energy levels 100% to where by the time you get on the spot in that environment with all the acorns and whatever laying around, you're ready to go to sleep versus practice being able to go after the acorns. Now, here's the deal. You got to do that every single time you put them on the spot in that environment until the habit is broken.
You're gonna have some strong legs.
So that's going to take that's going to take lots and lots of repetitions. A couple other ways you could break the habit is eliminate the acorn distract. Like let's say it's out in the yard. We got a spot out there. We're hanging out outside and there's acorns around, right? You got to break the habit, right? How else can I change that environment? I could take like a tarp, lay it out, put the spot on top of a tarp so there's no acorns underneath the spot. The tarp's right there. Now you're not able, because the tarp's bigger than the cot, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So now you're not able to grab any acorns. It's boring, so you're just laying there. So now you're practicing just laying there, right, in the location that we normally are in, but now you get the tarp out to where you can't access the acorns. And as time goes on, successive approximation, baby step in this process. I take the tarp away.
What is that? What is successive approximation?
Successive approximation, taking small steps of behavior, making it into a full behavior. You know what I'm saying? So if my end goal is I have the cot out in the yard, I don't have to put anything special underneath it, successively approximating the issue with the dog trying to get the acorns, I'm going to put the tarp out, right, as a baby step to the end goal of just having the cot there with the acorns out there. You know what I'm saying? So those are two ways that you could work to break that habit. You know, also building upon the engagement piece. Another way you could break that habit is teach your dog that when they're on the spot, their head has to be laying down. So your head doesn't get to be up. There's a new behavior that you have to teach of your head being down fully on the cot. And so that would mean another criteria to your spot command is not just an automatic downstay, but also your head has to be legit laying on the cot. If your head comes up, you get a correction for that. You know, your head has to be laying down. So you have to teach your dog to lay their head down through the whole progression process, and then you're fair to correct them once you get to that point in the training process. You know what I'm saying? So that's 3 ways you could break the habit, in addition to what Chris and Kevin already touched on, which again, it's like a puzzle piece. You got to put it together. But again, if we're talking about Ben's dog, lots of energy, got that hyperactive going on.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
sometimes
for
corrections,
Just a little bit.
sometimes corrections will amp her up. She gets a little bit excited, stimulated by them. You know what I'm saying? So we got to look at other methods to break that habit. So does that answer your question?
Yes, to the viewers out
To
there.
the anonymous, to the
Yeah.
anonymous.
To Mike, I
asker.
didn't have a question.
That wasn't Ben's
I
question.
didn't submit any
okay.
questions.
It
Or
wasn't-
whoever asked it.
It just
I
that
hope
question,
that answered.
That question just happened to line up with my life.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
whoever asked that question,
All right.
Thank you. Thank
good
you.
luck.
Good question.
All right. Next question. My dog snapped at me when I tried to move him off the couch.
Ooh.
I
Why
just
is
read
he?
about that.
Why is he becoming aggressive? He has never done this before.
Whoa.
He's playing a game, Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, we just read about that in the book. You know, the people moved into their spare bedroom
Is
because
that
their
the
dog
UK?
controlled
Is that
it.
the UK
This is the
version?
UK
crazy.
version. Games pets play.
Yeah.
So what we need to look at again, first of all, these behaviors don't just come out of nowhere. You know, they progress over time. You're just missing it. You know, somewhere at some point he's reinforced in his mind that not only does he control the environment, but he controls you and what you're able to do. So if he's snapping at you, he's basically telling you, "This is my couch. You're not going to sit on it." He's trying to control what you're able to do. So dominance. So we need to start implementing some things in our life to create some form of structure. You know, whether it be as simple as controlled feeding. Controlling his time management in the kennel. You know, so if you're not at home, put him in the kennel. You know, he's not going to roam around his area and make it his and practice these behaviors while you're not there to supervise him.
Right.
So there's a bunch of little things that you can change. One thing is I would stop letting him on the couch. Obviously, don't put yourself in a position to where you feel like your dog's going to do damage to you or anything like that. But you need to start building some structure, build up some respect for him. Send him to training. We'll give you a nice, solid communication system. If he touches the couch and you say no, he's going to understand in his mind that you control that.
Yep.
So it's all situation dependent, on what you do in your day-to-day life, but you definitely need to make some changes.
Implement structure.
Yep.
Implement routines and
rituals.
Good to go.
Equipment, leash. You know, set yourself up for success so you're not getting hurt.
Right.
You know, they're on the bed, grab the leash, they're off the bed.
Yeah, there's not just a shift in the dog's brain to where he's like, this is how I'm going to act today.
Yeah.
You know, it's just occurred over time.
Yeah.
And it can be hard to see, you know, especially as we go in our day-to-day life because we have our routines and rituals. You know, we have our schedule or whatever the case may be. My dog's been good to go for 6 years. All of a sudden, this is happening. Well, there's a root cause. It started somewhere and just slowly grew. You know?
You've been stroking his ego over time.
Stroking it.
Well, and
Stroking
how we are reacting to that is a big effect, right?
Could empower him,
like
you know?
what we've the story we just read. You know, are we like, well, I guess this is his bed now. I'm moving into the guest room.
Spare room.
That dog's like, cool, sweet, all right. This is my bed, right?
This is like a 12-pound dog, right? Wasn't
Yeah.
it? It was a small.
Yeah, it was
like
a
Cocker-
Cavalier, Cocker
Spaniel
Spaniel,
or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
Good to go.
All right.
All right, next question.
Next question. When I'm walking my dog, I put him in a downstay when passing other dogs in the neighborhood because of his leash reactivity. It works best for us. When he gets focused on another dog, he will not look at me for reassurance, or when I say no and or / Nick bump him. It seems like at most times it amps him up a little bit more. But he will look at me if I call his name, and I will keep him focused with a good, with or without a treat. Is this okay to call him by name if it works better for me?
Chris?
Yes. It is okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's
Kevin?
fine. Yeah. So I mean, I think I know who this is.
Yeah.
So yeah, like in that scenario, you can't like the remote collar sometimes or a correction especially with a dog reactive dog could amp them up. Now they do need to understand corrections and you need to be consistent with that. But I think in this scenario, if I'm calling my dog's name and they're hyper focused on a dog and they give me focus, they break that focus away off of that dog and give that to me, I've accomplished the mission. So I think that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, well, keep in mind too, like, so if you're saying their name and they're looking at you, doing exactly what you asked, obviously reward it. You can eventually, you know, fade just going through the scenario over and over and over again to where they see a dog, they're gonna look right at you. You know,
Exactly.
that's gonna be
Yeah.
ingrained in them.
Exactly.
So keep saying his name, keep building that focus, and later on, you know, as you notice walking by dogs, if he starts checking in with you, we're at a good point. We can start to fade that away, and we can almost just have the expectation in place that if there's another dog, you need to look at me.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, caveat. Let me throw a caveat in there. Like I am going to increase my expectations, right? So I'm not going to sit there and just call the dog's name every 5 seconds and expecting them to walk. Like at a certain point, I am building up to sustained focus, right? I want to call your name once. You look at me. The dog is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Right. So I will balance that with accountability and what this person's talking about with getting their focus as well.
And you can mix up the reward event too. You
Absolutely.
know, keep it interesting. Throw some engagement in there if they'll engage in that time. You know, almost redirecting that hyper focus into something positive.
Yeah.
You know, he's you know reinforcing himself by looking at the dog. He looks at you. Bam, gets a reward, gets to play with you, all that good stuff. That's going to build up that focus super quick. So
Yeah, so what you already talked about, Kevin, fading out so it becomes a default behavior, that's classical conditioning. So, like you already said, Chris, yes, I see a dog walking down the street. I put my dog in a downstay. My dog doesn't automatically look at me. I say their name. They look at me. I say good. I maintain that eye contact. Perfect. Now I have to do that repetitiously every single time. Dog comes down the street. My dog's at a downstay. I say their name. They look at me. I say good. Hundreds of repetitions of that. Pretty soon, dog walking down the street equals look at me. So the dog just looks at me on their own. I say good, follow through with a reward as needed. You know what I'm saying? So through classical conditioning, I have essentially taught my dog that when you see another dog, you immediately look at me, right? That's the expectation. Now, once I get to that point, if you break that expectation, because we've already done all those repetitions, then you're going to get a no correction. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Every single time. So the other thing you could do to build upon that is implement like a look command. So you say their name and you start this away from the distraction in your yard where it's nice and neutral. Dog's hanging out with you. You say their name or you just say look, because by now saying their name is probably going to be mean to look at you, so you don't even say their name. You just say, look, they look at you, great. Give them a piece of food, keep moving. Look, they look at you, good. Piece of food, keep moving. And then pretty soon, once you go through the repetitions of that, they understand the command. Now you can correct them for not looking at you. And whenever I say look, it means lock on to me and stay locked on until I tell you otherwise.
It's a duration behavior, just like a stay. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Do you remember the cue that I accidentally conditioned to Lulu?
What? I don't remember. Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And I was trying to figure out. I was like, you know what? Actually, this works. So I just make the noise. Looks at me, good to go.
Good to go. Inadvertent classical conditioning at work. All right.
Next question. My dog won't eat their food without freshly cooked chicken. Or I've also heard wet food on this one too, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Their dog won't eat. My dog won't eat.
Yes, they will.
They will. So I'll just jump into this one.
Good.
Kevin.
Kevin's fired up.
Kevin, remember that dog you trained?
Oh yeah. they almost made it too. They went for a little while, but she won in the end. So I've heard all kinds
playing
of
the game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've heard all kinds of stuff like this. Whether it be a certain type of food, or it has to have water in it, or they won't. I've had people to where they throw salt on it. Because the dog still feels like he's getting something different, and that's you basically giving in to your dog. You're letting that dog control you in that aspect.
Samantha's loving this.
So basically what you need to do, a dog is not going to instinctually withhold food to the point that it's going to cause problems. This is a waiting game. Your dog is playing a game with you. Put the food down. They get 30 minutes with it in the morning. If they don't eat, put it up. Put it back down at dinner, 30 minutes. They don't eat, put it up. Keep doing this. Dogs can go days and days to try to outlast, to get what they want. But if you outlast them and you don't give in to them, they are going to eat that food. Okay. The chicken, that's just learned. They figured out how to get it.
That fresh chicken's way better than whatever.
Oh yeah.
And
don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with feeding your dogs, whether it be chicken or like I put eggs on my dog's food every now and again. I'll crack an egg, mix it in there or whatever. Every now and then. I got the chickens, boys.
Right,
the eggs got to go
All right.
somewhere.
Kevin, is this your question?
But I
We
will
got
tell
some
you,
infiltrated questions.
I will tell you, when the egg's not on the food, they still eat.
Good to go.
So just gotta.
And if they don't eat, where's the food go? Gets put
Put it
away.
up.
dinner.
Yep.
That's dinner.
Yep.
Now, I mean, I will say there are some dogs that, like you said, can hold out even longer. So this can be, from the human perspective, you can get a little scared. We've seen some dogs where they'll refuse food to the point where they're losing a lot of weight. And maybe you can see some spine protruding. You see their ribs, that kind of stuff, and that can cause a lot of people. Oh no, I'm giving in, right? And they're You just have to balance from a health perspective as well. That's a concern as well. But absolutely, like they're not going to starve themselves to death.
And on that note, I would say go back and listen to our podcast with Blair from All Is Well in Somerville. Make sure you're providing your dog with a nutritiously proper food source and not like Old Roy.
Yeah, there's no gravy train in this household, right?
Provide them with quality food, and then if they're trying to manipulate you, play a game with you, don't let them. Wait them out. Make sure you start building that habit that you're eating what you're given, that you're provided to. And there's nothing wrong with, like Kevin said, putting some extra stuff in the food every once in a while. Who cares? But if your dog starts to show you that, hey, they're trying to play a game, they're not going to eat unless they get whatever, right? And you don't want to do that. Nope. You stick to what your feeding ritual is. You know what I'm saying? Do you have something else you want to add, Kevin?
No, good to go.
All right, next question.
All right, that's all the serious questions.
That is?
Yep.
They're all questions
are
here at
serious.
the Revolution.
All right, here's your next serious question. Are beards required to be a trainer?
No.
I don't have a beard.
Sometimes you do.
You
I got a little after. I got a
stubble.
You
shadow,
let it go for a little while. And you're
little
like, I can't
shadow
take it.
action.
You get to the itchy point.
Also, someone else wanted to know how long it took you to grow your beard out, Chris.
His grows pretty fast, actually.
It does. The more I sweat, the more it grows.
First of all, let's
That's
just say that
strange.
Chris has a beard barber on his speed dial
He does. He
that
does.
he goes to groom his beard.
I need to
You
go
have
to
to.
him.
That's
I'm a
true.
little messy.
That's
over
actually
You
here.
have to, man. You gotta take care of it. I mean, this is. I don't know. I mean, I do trim it every couple months. But I
Couple
haven't.
months.
I don't think I've been clean shaven in years.
To see you clean shaven would be weird.
I don't remember
Just
the
like when
last
Kevin
time.
shaved his hair. Remember that?
Yeah,
That was weird.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I was clean shaven. So I mean, I've been growing the beard for many years, but I do trim it every couple months.
Yeah, you noticed the second I got out of the truck. Viola didn't notice for a month
Didn't notice what?
that my hair was
Your
gone.
hair? She
Yeah.
didn't notice for
No.
a month?
I mean,
What the
I
heck?
was blinded by the sun. Was like,
How did she not notice?
Because I had like a little bit, and I was like, "Oh, might be time to shave my head." She's like, "You're shaving your hair?" She's like, where'd your hair go?" I was like,
she didn't notice that you didn't have the ponytail and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
What?
Oh wow.
What the heck?
Yeah, I was like, it's been a while. Viola. If I didn't know what she was talking about
Yeah.
at first, I forgot.
Holy cow. That's insane.
But yeah, his beard grows super fast because I remember you cut it down. I mean, it's only been a few months.
Well, Kevin has trimmed down his beard.
Yeah.
When he
I
first
trimmed
was
it, and then it just. I think I'm at a stopping point.
Oh, really?
I'm getting like no
You
growth going
tapered
on.
out.
See, before you
Yeah.
trimmed it, you had a long beard and you had all the conditioner stuff you put in it, right? All the
There was a
stuff.
little.
I mean, that's okay
yeah.
to do that. You got to take
Little
care
beard
of it.
balm in there.
You got to take
I
care
still
of
put
it.
some stuff
Beards
in
are
it,
too
but,
itchy for me.
Dr. Squatch, man.
Oh, Dr.
I
Squatch,
just
you got
put that
the
soap in
beard
there,
stuff
good
in
to
there?
go.
Oh, the
Kevin,
soap.
Kevin and
The
his
sea goat.
soap.
Kevin gave me some soap.
Kevin
Sea
knows
goat
all about
soap.
his soap.
Spent
That was-
$90
that was
on that
nice
soap.
He gave me a bar. It's nice.
The sea goat soap made me smell really
You used the
good.
coffee soap yet?
No,
I got the eucalyptus. I got eucalyptus.
eucalyptus.
Smells good. Smells
I
really
still have a
good.
lot of sense to go through. So.
All right.
All right, next
Next
one.
question.
This one's for Chad. What made you come up with the name Canine Revolution
That's a
Dog
good one.
Training?
Hey.
I can
that's a-
actually. I was in the room when we came up with the name too.
I'm
Well,
gonna piggyback
were you
on
in the
that, too.
room or you were on the phone? Because
No,
I
I was
lived in
in the room.
California at the time.
Well, I think what had happened was you had visited from California to here.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You were with, our family hanging out. We were bouncing names off each other.
Yeah, yeah.
We had come up with, I don't remember the other.
Well, yeah,
options.
so
we had come up with some
yeah,
other names.
there's a lot of names out there. So we came up. So whenever we decided to start up the company, the business,
Revolution.
the revolution, I wanted an intense name. You know what I'm saying? And we went through a bunch of names like Singer Canine Academy and lame. And there's like something else like I don't know, a bunch of lame names. And then I was like Google searching like whatever. I forgot what it was, but somehow I came upon Revolution. You know what I'm saying? It just popped up. Or I don't even know if it popped up or this was whenever I first was looking into Revolution. And I was like, it was like a wide and drastic reaching change. That was the definition. I was like, holy shit, that's it. You know what I'm saying? And so then I either called Ben or I was at the house hanging out with Ben and I was like going through all the names with him because he was helping me design the logo. And then Lauren was there, obviously, and like the rest of the family. And so I said Canine Revolution, and I thought that was intense. I thought it was cool. I thought it meant something, I think Ben was on board with it. I know Michael Lucky was on board with it. You remember Michael Lucky? Mm-hmm. He was like, yeah, man, And
I don't remember him being in. I don't even.
No, I mean, me and him are
but
talking
yeah,
about it
I know,
separately.
Yeah.
And then Lauren was like, good to go.
Yeah.
But I remember there was many people that I was kind of bouncing the name off, and they said, that's too intense. Don't do it. Bad idea.
we are
Bad
intense.
idea.
Too
Bad
intense
idea.
of a name.
Too intense is what
Don't
we
do
do.
it. People will not come to you. And eventually I just got to the point where I was like, it's it. That's the name.
Yeah,
I couldn't think of anything else that was better,
Yeah.
Then we knew the logo was going to be a dog with a tattered flag, American flag, So then Ben got on the logo situation and good to go.
Well,
so
and,
that's kinda-
I mean, who's the dog?
well, then Ben. So then I sent over to Ben. That was the other thing too.
Talk in your microphone, Chris.
I'm right in the microphone.
That was the other thing too. So like Ben was helping me design the logo, and we went through a bunch of stuff.
This is before I made the logo with Chad before he even hired me.
Yeah, this was like
I
way
just-
before
like
you
pro
started
bono
working
work?
here.
Pro bono.
Well,
baby.
Chad was forcing
The logo
him
was
to
pro
as his
bono?
brother.
Yeah, Chad actually had me in a chokehold, as my hands on the mouse, like
Yeah. Build it.
he's
Build
like,
it.
build it.
We had a bunch of ideas for the logo. One was like this shield. One was like a dog skull, like with its mouth open.
Yeah, maybe that one didn't articulate the
Yeah.
right concept.
Ben was like Ben even was like the dog skull was too intense.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway.
Sends the wrong message.
So then we get to where we needed like a dog that was very common than the American flag that was tattered. So I sent over to Ben a lab silhouette, with an American flag. Ben sent back the Doberman with the American flag. And I was like, holy shit, that's it. And he was like, that's actually Bane. He took a picture of Bane, like cut out the silhouette. So it was actually Bane, which is the reason why we got into dog training. And there was a ton of people that we were bouncing the logo off of, and they were saying too intense. Doberman, that's too intense. People are going to be scared. People are going to. I was like,
These
nope,
are people
that's
that
it.
know you.
I don't
right?
remember.
Yeah,
I
like
don't
Chad's
remember.
been intense since he was 6 years old.
Yeah, I don't remember any of these people saying it was too intense. So that might have been some conversations
Yeah, it
that
was
Chad had
it was-
behind closed doors.
It was
I
internal
didn't- I didn't
conversations.
know.
Yeah.
Should have used the doodle.
Yeah, I think I was messing with the logo and with the lab, whatever. It just wasn't working, and I was trying to come up with some ideas of what to do. And I took this picture of Bane on the beach in California, cut his silhouette out, messed with the image because it actually is an actual picture of Bane.
Right.
And I just
it's the
blacked it
actual
out.
silhouette of Bane himself when he was younger.
If you go underneath the layer,
onion layer.
Peel back the onion.
Yep.
I'm going to piggyback on that question though,
What?
because a lot of other companies will just use the K9
Oh yeah.
instead of spelling it out. Is there any reason why you didn't?
I just didn't want to be like other people. Like K9. It's
Because
like-
that's intense.
Because
Because that's intense.
Out too that it's
Yeah.
not K9.
Right.
Most people use K9.
Yeah.
Well, I think that maybe
I
may
like-
send the wrong message. You know what I mean? They may be
Oh,
like
yeah.
police working dogs
Yeah,
or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I like the way we have it spelled out.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
it.
no, it's
I
nice.
like
You know me,
K9.
I'm like, I
Yeah.
like being professional and all that. So,
CRDT.
so Canine Revolution was like
All right.
spelling it out. Was
I
a little
love
bit better.
typing out my email address.
Yeah, I'll just straight up tell people. They're like, "What's your email?" I'm like, "All right, it's long."
Yeah.
Get ready. Get ready. You got a notepad?
Yeah. All right, so piggybacking off of this conversation, what are some future goals for Canine Revolution dog training?
Future goals. All right.
Big
What's
question.
not in
How
the
much
stars?
time you got?
Big question.
Because Chad's a big brain entrepreneur.
Well,
guys. All right, how much? We're gonna need a couple
We're
more.
actually going to be dog training / French drains. So we got that going.
I've thought about starting up the
Jim.
French drain thing.
excavator business.
We got Harrison. We got Adrian willing to join the team. The French Canine
Tree cutting business.
The French drain revolution.
Oh, we can cut some trees now.
Cut the trees. Tree revolution.
OSHA, don't bother coming out here for the tree cutting.
So, well, there's going to be some things that we're going to keep internal to the business. Some things that we want to, whenever they get released, there'll be surprises to the public. But a couple things.
Gonna hit you with the razzle dazzle one day.
With the razzle dazzle when
Boom.
it comes out.
But you
One
better
of-
believe it's going to be intense.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My expert mind. If you listen to the last podcast about books, you know what we're talking about. But that mindset, But anyway, so one of the things we've been working on for a while, which is it's continuing to work towards being done, is an apparel line for Canine Revolution. So different shirts, different things.
Get your money ready.
some with the logo on it, some with other designs.
Don't you want my face on your shirt?
Actually,
We might have Kevin on a
let me write
face.
it down
We
real
might have Kevin's face on it.
We're,
write it down real quick. That's
you
a good
could
idea.
you can buy mine or Kevin's beard hair. We're cutting off little braids.
That's
of
true.
it.
Yeah.
Like those
Some locks.
I'll do it.
locks.
some locks.
I'll do it for the cause.
Hey.
Every morning I brush it, some comes out. So
So some of the shirts are going to be, or they're all going to be centered around dogs, but some might be like some gym attire that you would wear to the gym.
Ooh, nice.
Some might be some like,
I don't wear shirts to the gym.
yeah, we know. You got your treehouse gym. You're just out there naked, Tarzan.
And
I
the
got
cold.
pants on. I got pants
In
on.
the freezing cold.
There might be some shirts for like you going out to a restaurant. Wear a shirt out to a restaurant. Maybe you're going to hang out with some friends.
Little collar shirt.
Got some shirts for that type of situation. So
Suits.
we're going to be starting off. Thought about it. At
You
least
know,
ties.
I'll get one of those.
I
At
need
least
some
ties.
underwear.
Not many people know, but when you can't see it most of the time, but most of the time everyone's in uniform, especially Chad. If you know Chad, he's always in his work
I
shirt.
don't wear anything
He doesn't
else.
own
But
any other clothes.
let me just
I don't
say,
know any other clothes.
when we're off the clock, and you catch Chad maybe out having a good time, he's got some major vacation dad attire, flip flop short,
Hawaiian
Sleeveless
shirt,
shirt.
button up shirt,
Hawaiian button-up shirt.
I don't have any more
a
Hawaiian
nice
shirts.
Columbia fisherman shirt. Chad doesn't even fish. He just likes the breathability of
The
it.
one suit
I
that
do
he
like the
owns.
breed.
Yeah,
breathability.
one suit with a cowboy
It's
hat.
not even a full suit. It's not even.
There's
a full
no
suit.
jacket. It's just a vest
Yeah.
and a citadel tie.
Now, I
So
have
you
one-
should know that the apparel line coming out is going to be real good.
And Chad's
real-
gonna need it because he's gonna
yeah.
have to buy his own stuff.
Yeah.
He needs more clothes.
I
Variety.
need more clothes for different things.
Honestly, if I'm not wearing work clothes, it's usually just sweatpants and a tank top.
I like
Good
the
to go.
sweatpants, boys.
If I'm not wearing work clothes, I'm.
Right.
Next.
If I see an employee not wearing their work clothes even when they're off work, I get upset.
He
It
gets
sucks
me on
too.
that. He'll see me at like a family thing. He's
At
like,
least,
"You're not wearing your uniform." I'm like, "Yeah, it's Sunday. What? Like,
At least
I'm
y'all,
literally here just to eat food." Like, what do
So
you
y'all
want
don't
from
live
me?
next door to him.
Yeah.
I've seen him in the woods. He's like, hey,
No, there's
like
a
just trying to mow my grass. Hey, put your uniform on.
There's a reason that I didn't live with him. There's a reason that I didn't move in next to him. It's because of that exact reason. I lived with him 18 plus years of my life. I've had enough of living with Chad.
All right, so back on track. A couple other things.
Digressed.
Couple,
Sorry, that went on a
I mean, it's
tangent.
all true. It's all true. But a couple other things we're working on for the Revolution. We are working on a facility building that's going to be, it's going to have better indoor training environments. It's going to have better spaces for the trainers and training assistants to use. It's also going to have great outdoor areas with different fenced-in segments to do different aspects of training. It's going to have a big training field for, again, different aspects of training. And it's going to have an employee-only gym.
Oh, I thought you were going to say pool.
I thought he was going to say pool too.
The
Indoor
pool is in the
heated
long-term
indoor
plan.
Pool,
But the hot tub comes with the gym.
The pool is in the phase 2 plan.
Okay.
The gym's
Yeah,
going to be
pool.
like a pile of weights in the shower.
The gym's gonna be.
There's no weights. We just go there and fight each other.
no. There's gonna be weights. We got to move iron. So anyway, that's 2 things. Let's go one more. So eventually, at some point, the trainers are gonna have some of their own company vehicles to travel around in, maneuver some more dogs around in.
He's probably going to be pretty
Good to go.
hardcore on that maintenance.
Oh,
log.
he's going to have to put a camera in them and watch us.
Oh yeah, I'm GPS and well, Chris, I don't know if you're getting one. Kevin, you'll get one. Chris has admitted to me before that if like whenever he used to work for the government, he was just, hey, do whatever to the government vehicles, no big
Hey,
deal.
boys, those Crown Vics. Those Crown Vics are supposed to ride.
So I'm not
dirty,
sure I'm
boys.
going to give Chris a company vehicle, but Kevin, he's going to get one at some
Never
point.
been in a car accident, though.
You've gotten pulled over a lot, though.
Never got a ticket.
Oh, well,
Smooth talker. Smooth talker.
so those are a couple things. Long-term range for the Revolution.
All right, we're wrapping it up here. We got 2 more questions left. Wow, my voice just cracked.
Yeah,
Left.
I remember that time.
Wow. This applies to each and every one of you. Probably a different story. Did you always want to be a trainer? We can start with Kevin. Also, before we go into this,
What was that?
What was that?
That
was
Bane?
Bane.
Holy cow.
if you guys want to know the full story on all of our trainers, employees, we got a playlist on our Facebook page that
Kevin
deep
gets a lot of
dives.
comments on his.
Yep, 20,
randomly.
30-minute videos deep diving into how
Who we are.
how we got to where we are,
We are what we do.
how we got to be so intense.
Revolution.
Anyways, go ahead, Kevin.
I mean, when I was a kid, like my whole thing was law enforcement, trying to follow like Pap's footsteps, But when I did work for the penitentiary, I did get to work with, trained canines, drug sniffing dogs, all that good stuff. And I was blown away. And I wanted to be a canine handler in the penitentiary one day. That market has since expanded crazily since I've been there. But once I left, I pedaled around and other stuff, but I did want to be a trainer. I had contacted Chad before. I ended up waiting, it was like a year and a half or something like that. Then I contacted you again. So obviously I did want to be a trainer, and this is what I'm doing for life. Not necessarily from the moment I was born, but it did happen, and I'm very grateful for it. I love what I do.
Good to go, boys.
Chad?
All right, so for me, short answer, no. Not what I was planning on doing,
Navy
period.
SEAL.
Yeah.
Growing up, I was going to be a Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
Then I got into the Navy. Wasn't a SEAL. And then I was still going to be in the Navy for like career, 20 or 30 years. Did 4 years, was like, okay, it's probably time to get out.
So that's enough of that.
Got out at 4.5 years. What am I going to do? Got into dog training. Now I am where we are today. And if you want the full details, go to the video on the Canine Revolution. Are they on YouTube or just Facebook?
Just Facebook. We probably should put them on our YouTube.
Probably put them on YouTube. Videos
Also,
on
I
Facebook.
can input here. When Chad was in the Navy, he wasn't working really that hard. I'd be in college, going my 8 a.m. classes. I get out of my classes at 10 a.m. Chad calls me, hey, what's up? It's, like early morning in California still. Chad, oh yeah, just I'm going to go to the office, probably leave around 10, 11. I'm not really going to do a lot today. I'm just going to go back home. Like, this is what the military guys do, huh? Then he became a dog trainer.
Typical.
He works way harder now.
Oh, yeah.
Just messing around. I mean, that story's true. But
I'm not messing around that much.
That story's actually true.
Yeah, well, for me, I mean, similar to Kevin's story, really, I was, I had no desire to be a dog trainer whatsoever. I've always liked dogs. I always knew I'd be a dog person for sure, but I went into law enforcement. Canine was definitely on the list. I wanted to go the canine route and work with the dogs. I did have the opportunity, but timing didn't work out. Went into detectives. That was a better fit for me and my family at the time. And then did that for a couple more years, and then started, working with Chad with my dog Vader, and that's kind of when the passion for the actual training part of the dogs, kind of took root, and I made the decision. So no, I if you would asked me, 10 years ago, there's no way I'm going to be a dog trainer. but glad I am.
Good to go.
Good job. All right.
Ben,
What?
did you ever view that? Did you?
No,
ever
I would
think-
not be a trainer. I'm still not a trainer.
Did you ever think that?
You
when-
trained a dog.
Hey, you
boys.
trained your
We
dog.
got a
Yeah, I
dog.
trained my dog, and guess
Did
what?
you think
I'm
growing
asking
up?
questions on the training podcast.
Did you ever think growing up that you were going to be where you're at today?
Working for you? No.
You didn't know.
I
that
didn't
from
think
day
I'd be
one?
working for you.
You moved to California. He was like, yes.
Yeah.
I thought I laid the groundwork when you were a child. That
You
you were always going to be working for me.
Yeah, the brainwashed him.
Yeah, Chad's been trying to take command of me ever since we were brothers. Tell me what to do.
We're still brothers.
Oh, I mean, well, yeah,
Growing
that
up.
came.
Chris Phoenix
came
is going
out.
to get you in the comments.
Once
on
you're
that
18,
one.
you're not related anymore.
Chris Phoenix is going to get you in the comments.
No, I went to school I went to school a couple times. College. I went to school.
Not needed.
I went to college fresh out of high school. I ended up dropping out / failing out. Depends how you look at it.
Good choice.
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah. If you ask my parents, fail out. If you ask me, no, I just took some time off. Then I had to actually take a break, and I had to work full time for a while. And earn some money back to pay off my scholarships because I flunked out.
Nice.
And then
You took some time off.
Yeah, I took some time off. And then I went back to school just in the upstate in Clemson area. And then I was looking for a job down here in the media field. Started doing wedding stuff because that's an easy in for a lot of people to get into media, make your own videos and stuff like that. It's also like really competitive. The wedding field is. But then Chad wanted me to come on and work for him as a media guy early on, and I told him no. I told him he wasn't paying me enough, or he wouldn't be able to pay me enough. Yep, shut him down, and then
He's like, hell no.
was working a manual labor job.
Manual labor.
Yep, having a great time there. And
Great time.
That's where you
Yeah.
get your 6-pack, right?
What?
What?
6-pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ripped. Yeah. And then I started really getting I was unhappy with what I was doing, manual labor, whatever. And was like, I really want to get back into my field, media, because I hadn't found anything that was solidified in Charleston, or else I would have to move outside of the Charleston area. And then I called Chad, and I was like, hey, is that job opening still? Like, you still want to hire me? This is like a year later. And he was like, yeah, but I can't hire you for X amount of months because of whatever. And then eventually I joined the team and been here for almost 3 years.
Day one.
Day one, walked a lot. 4th of July, walked a lot. Middle
a good
of July,
That was a good day.
it was only me, Chad, and Chris. Kevin hadn't joined on board yet, and I think Chris had been hired shortly before me.
Yeah, not much.
Like a month.
Maybe a month, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, that first walk killed me.
Y'all know how I like to do the newcomers.
Yeah,
Little introductory walk.
That's the way of earning your stripes. Walking
Little pack
for
walk
a long
action.
time in the heat of South Carolina heat.
Oh, he got me on a shadow day. Don't worry.
Yeah, yeah. We all do our time.
And on your
somehow.
first day, you always don't have the right shoes.
Oh, yeah.
I just wasn't
You don't
Stamina
expect it.
wise, I wasn't built up for
Oh, yeah.
because I wasn't working out or anything.
Yeah, you don't expect it. I'm like, all right, well, let's go for a walk.
Yeah, I was like, all right, and I bring all my camera equipment with me that I didn't really need. And I'm like, we might need this, and then I was like, because we'll probably stop and do some stuff, and I might have.
We don't stop.
There was no stopping. It was just me like fumbling around my camera gear for a while in the heat. Camera's overheating and stuff like that.
You're overheating.
I'm overheating. What a
Yep.
day! Wow.
You got to earn your stripes.
It wasn't even that long of a walk.
It was like
maybe.
2 miles.
Maybe that. Maybe. Not even.
It was like maybe 4 miles.
No.
We did multiple walks.
That's double
We
pretty
did,
quick.
dude. It was because it was the 4th of July.
Yeah.
So we were
Fireworks.
trying to get the dogs exhausted before the fireworks started.
Yeah.
We might have done a good bit then.
Yeah.
Nah. To me, it's just a walk, boys.
Yeah. Walk
Well,
the walk.
now I could walk that and be fine.
Yeah.
But obviously,
You had to build up your stamina.
yeah.
And your
definitely.
speed, because he's a speed runner.
Yeah, he is.
Well, I mean,
I gotta
you
tell
know,
him to slow down when we do our shoot.
My
still.
short behind has to keep up with all you tall people.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to hear it.
I'll look up and I'll just kind of like taper off my speed or whatever. I'll look back up. Chad's like, a football field in front of me. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I got these short little Puerto Rican legs.
All right, next question.
All right, last question. Going around the table, really quick speed round. What's you guys' favorite food to eat? Or we could go. What's your favorite restaurant currently?
Current favorite restaurant?
Yeah, we'll do that one.
I'm not good at
Current
favorites.
favorite restaurant.
It all depends on my mood.
Yeah. I mean,
That's tough.
I'm like a dumpster. I'll eat anything.
Well, we all
You're a
like.
dumpster.
Yeah.
Well,
You're a dumpster.
we all
Dumpster
like
boy.
off the chain
Oh, yeah.
grill in
Oh, yeah.
Somerville.
I
We
found
need to do a
that
feature.
by the
we
way.
need to do an updated podcast episode.
We all like Bad Daddy's Burger Bar.
Yep. Not all. These two.
We all like Just Desserts Bakery
Harleyville.
Oh, yeah.
and Deli, and we all like Fuji. Wait, have y'all
I
been
have
to
not
Fuji?
been.
What?
Oh, you finally went?
You
I went to
haven't.
Fuji.
You haven't
Good, right?
invited
It's
me.
good.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
never
we go.
invited me.
You never invited me to the other place.
Yeah, I brought it to you. That's even better.
I basically live at Fuji.
Fuji's good.
Like, I'll go work out. Like, oh, man, I'm exhausted. Look across the street.
It's right next to the gym. Good to go.
All right, I'll be right back.
Also,
Catch Chris at the Big Donut Shop.
Saying I like donuts.
hey, the Baked Donut
was
Shop
there
is
last
good.
weekend. I was there
Fruity
last
Pebbles
weekend.
donuts after a workout. You get your fast
Caught
carbs
him out
in.
there one morning, Wednesday morning.
I wasn't eating the donuts. I got them for the girls.
Oh,
I pull up to go to the gym. He's got a Addison and Emma. And he's
Yeah.
just going to town.
Chad uses his daughters as an excuse. to eat.
girls.
He said it wasn't
All
his,
kinds
but
of
I
food.
saw the Fruity Pebbles
Yeah,
donut.
he's got it like in his
Addison
stubble.
likes the Fruity Pebbles donut too, boy.
He's got cereal all over his face. No, I wasn't eating it. It's for the girls.
Surprised he didn't have the Oreo one.
I would have. Did they have
No,
one?
I'm saying
Oreos
Chad
are-
likes Oreos.
Oreos
I
are
do,
not
too.
in my diet anymore.
Yeah,
Told you
right.
that.
Well, we'll go check.
BS.
We'll
Honestly,
check the pantry after.
if we're talking like favorite restaurant, though, pretty much anything in Nexton.
Wasabi.
Yeah.
Wasabi's good.
Wasabi's good too.
I mean, I
Wasabi's
just like
good.
food. Period.
They're just
Moe's is pretty
Good
good.
food.
Just foodie.
Donato's, pretty good pizza.
Donato's not good.
Remember that one day we got Donato's, Kevin, out by the
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was good.
They're
Were you
just
there, Chris?
scarfing
I
it.
don't think so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I was there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We
just
were so
destroyed
hungry.
it.
I forget what we were doing.
We were doing a bunch of distraction work. And
Yeah.
We just destroyed it. Also, rolled quesadilla food truck. Good to go.
Ooh, food trucks is a whole other. We need to do an episode.
All right. We're getting off topic here. This is we're cutting into another episode.
All right, that's it. That's everything I got for you guys today.
Nice.
Well, there's one missing though.
What? What?
You left one out there.
A question?
Yeah.
What?
I saw it under some comments on Facebook.
What is it?
Who
Kevin, you got a question?
Oh,
Who
there-
is
it was
your
one.
favorite brother?
Oh yeah. Yeah, Chad. This
Yeah,
one's
yeah,
for Chad.
I've been
Chad,
curious on that one.
Chad, do you have a favorite brother? Depends how you define brother. Blood brother, or brother in spirit. You know? Chris, we're all brothers here.
Hulk Hogan brother?
Yeah.
You know? Brother.
Cousins. Kevin's our cousin.
But he's also our brother.
He's also a brother.
Hey, brother.
So I think
brother.
everybody's a brother.
Well,
Samantha, your brother?
Samantha's a brother.
Samantha, you're a brother.
Samantha's one of the boys.
For the boys.
I don't have a favorite brother. I got two brothers for anybody that doesn't know. I got Ben here, production, creativity manager, mustache guru.
Yeah, I'm growing it back out.
And then we got Andrew down in Guatemala. He's got his dog down there that got trained and his new wife.
Got a cat too.
They got a cat?
What?
You serious?
Really?
What? You guys didn't know that?
No,
Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me?
We'll talk about it after the podcast.
They got a cat.
but no favorite.
No favorite.
You can tell us when we turn off the podcast.
Yeah,
Good
we'll
to go.
talk-
Then we got Chris. We got Kevin. Brothers.
Samantha.
Samantha.
Brother.
Brother.
Samantha.
Brother.
brother.
We got a lot of brothers.
Yeah.
We got a lot of brothers. Sean,
Brother.
He's a good brother. He's a good brother.
he's a good brother.
He's a quiet brother.
Shout out to Sean. Sean, if you're listening to the podcast, give us some feedback.
He better be listening.
I don't
to
think
this
Sean's
podcast.
listening to this.
You don't think so? You better be listening
quiz
to
him.
it. in
I know
his
there's
truck.
I know there's a nice stereo in that big truck he's got.
Oh yeah, he's got.
I
A
don't know how
nice
many
truck.
people have tuned out by this point.
Hey, he's got a nice truck, eh? Dodge 1500 lifted, big tires.
He's also got Wayne.
He's got Wayne. Wayne's looking good, dude.
Wayne's a good dog.
All right, wrap it up.
All right.
We've already lost. half the
We've
people
burned
that-
through our
If
content.
you're still listening to this point, thanks for listening. Please subscribe to us on Facebook or like us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. Check us out on your favorite podcasting platform. If you have any questions, send them to us. We'll be doing these periodically. And until next time, you guys go out there, train hard, play hard, have fun with your dog. Out.
Routines and rituals.